Okay, let's talk about something a lot of us deal with, but pretty much nobody likes to bring up. Constipation, right? It's just frustrating, it's uncomfortable, but here's the good news. Relief can often be found right in your own kitchen. So today, we're going to dive into some natural, really effective foods that can help get things moving again.
So, if you're feeling a bit, backed up, maybe bloated, or just not quite yourself, you are definitely not alone. It is an incredibly common issue, and just knowing you're not the only one, is a great place to start.
And get this, according to the National Institutes of Health, nearly 16% of all adults experience constipation. That is a huge number of people dealing with the exact same discomfort. So with that in mind, let's get into the science behind the solution.
The hero of our story today is dietary fiber. But before we just jump into a list of foods, it is so important to understand why fiber is so powerful and what it's actually doing inside our bodies. So, what even is it? Well, to put it simply, fiber is just a type of carbohydrate from plants that our bodies can't digest. So instead of giving us energy, it passes right through our system, playing this absolutely vital role in keeping everything healthy and regular. And it turns out there are two different kinds you really need to know about.
Right, so fiber comes in two main flavors. You've got soluble fiber, which dissolves in water and forms this gel-like substance. Think of it as the softener. And then you've got insoluble fiber, which doesn't dissolve. It acts more like a broom, adding bulk and kind of sweeping everything along. For a happy gut, you really need both working together.
But here is the major disconnect. Even though we know how important fiber is, a staggering 90% of adults don't get the recommended daily amount. This huge gap is a massive reason why so many people are constipated. So how do we start to fix that?
All right, let's build our digestive toolkit. We're going to walk through 6 powerful, science-backed foods that can help you close that fiber gap and, hopefully, get some real relief.
First up on the list, ground flax seeds. These little seeds are an amazing place to start because they pack a serious 1-2 punch of both types of fiber we just talked about. So yeah, flax seeds really do it all. You get that soluble fiber to soften things up and the insoluble fiber to add bulk. Studies show they improve both how often you go and the consistency. And this is a really crucial tip, your body can't break down whole flax seeds, so to get all those good benefits, you've got to choose ground. Next on our list is a fruit you probably know and love, the kiwi. But its power to fight constipation comes from more than just fiber. It's got a secret weapon. Of course, kiwi has fiber that bulks things up and speeds up the transit time. But its real secret is this unique enzyme called actinidin. This cool compound helps break down proteins and directly stimulates movement in your gut, giving everything an extra little push. And here's a fantastic, practical tip that comes right from the source material. A lot of that good-for-you fiber is actually in the skin. So if you're feeling adventurous, just give it a good wash and try eating it whole. It's a simple change, but it can make a big difference. Moving on, let's talk about 2 absolute soluble fiber superstars, chia seeds and oats. Both of these are fantastic at absorbing water and creating that gel-like consistency that we were talking about earlier. Chia seeds are just incredible. Get this, just 2 tablespoons can provide about 1/3 of your daily fiber needs. They just swell up with water, adding this soft mass. Oats work in a really similar way, helping to hydrate and soften everything up. And hey, here's a really important note from the research. While oat bran is great, you should probably avoid wheat bran, which can actually make constipation worse for some people. Of course, no list about constipation relief would be complete without this classic remedy. Prunes have a well-deserved reputation for a reason, and it's all thanks to a pretty powerful 2-pronged approach. So first, prunes have that fiber we need for bulk, but their secret ingredient is something called sorbitol. It's a sugar alcohol that our body doesn't absorb very well. This actually draws water into the colon, creating a natural laxative effect. The key here, though, is to start slow. A few prunes or a small glass of juice is really all you need to get started. And finally, our last entry might actually be a surprise for some, but for many of us, it's a daily ritual: coffee. It turns out that morning cup does a lot more than just wake up your brain.
There are actually a few scientific reasons why this works so well. The caffeine itself directly stimulates the muscle contractions that move things along. It also triggers digestive hormones that basically tell your body, hey, it's time to go. Plus, some research even suggests that just having a warm beverage can help relax and stimulate the gut.
Now look, food is a massive part of the solution, but it doesn't work in a vacuum.
To get the absolute best results, you need to pair these dietary changes with a few other essential lifestyle habits. So here are 4 huge takeaways. First, introduce more fiber slowly to let your body adjust and avoid any gas or bloating. Second, and this is so critical, you have to hydrate. Fiber needs water to do its job. Third, try to eat regular meals to keep your whole system humming along. And fourth, get moving. Physical activity helps stimulate your digestive tract.
And on that point about hydration, here are the general guidelines. Now, these numbers might look high, but just remember that includes water from everything you consume, including foods like fruits and vegetables. The bottom line is simple. If you're upping your fiber, you have to up your fluids too.
Here's a fascinating bit of biology that explains why eating regularly is so important. The simple act of eating triggers something called the gastrocolic reflex. It's basically your stomach telling your colon, hey, make some room, more is coming. If you skip meals, you can weaken this natural signal, which can contribute to that sluggish feeling.
Okay, so while all these foods and habits can be incredibly effective, they aren't a magic bullet for every single situation. It's also really important to know when it's time to talk to a professional.
If your digestive issues are ongoing or if they're severe, please talk to a doctor. These dietary changes are a powerful first step, but a professional can help you figure out the root cause. So the real question is, now that you know what your gut needs to thrive, which one of these foods are you going to add to your plate first?